HUD buds, welcome back. We've been expecting you. The Matrix? Anyone? Anyways, in this episode, we've got a new segment in store, along with more video games in real life and more reviews of TV shows, movies, and video games. It's all shown here on your heads-up display.
Look at me, Mario! Nobody's faster than me!
Welcome back to a new episode of Heads Up Display, the one digital media review show to rule them all. Well, that's just our opinion. I'm Stephanie Holmeyer.
And I'm Chris Grubbs. Many of you might have wondered, why are these guys reviewing things? What kind of credibility do they have? I could school any of these noobs with my hands tied, like 1v1 me, bro.
If you're indeed saying that, first of all, whoa, chill. Second of all, we're pretty decent at video games. In fact, we had an in-staff tournament to decide who was the most decent. Here's our new segment, cleverly titled HUD Honcho.
Don't get off there! Don't No! Jump! No! No! You know what I shouldn't have done? I should have not hit you. We should have hit him. You were my brother. You killed me.
And there you have it, folks. Casey is our HUD honcho. Casey is our first ever HUD honcho. Congratulations, sir.
Feels good.
How does it feel? How does it feel?
Here we are live on Texas Tech campus, April 17th, 2015, and there's a zombie invasion. The humans behind me are trying to survive, and
Hey guys, I'm Gage Garrett. This time, we're reviewing a BBC Two series that's kind of flown under the radar, but when you watch it, it immediately sucks you into the world full of intrigue, treachery, English accents, and berets. Lots and lots of berets. Here's our review of Peaky Blinders. Post-World War I England is a period that might seem a bit odd to be the background for a crime family drama, but when the intro theme kicks off the Peaky Blinders, you'll be along for the ride. Peaky Blinders centers around the Shelby family and their mafia-esque criminal organization called the Peaky Blinders. Named as such because of the razor blades that they have sewn into the peaks of their berets and for the gruesome ways that they use them. Thomas Shelby, played by Cillian Murphy, is the second son of the family and the head of the Peaky Blinders. The story focuses on his ambitions to become the top dog in England when it comes to any sort of criminal operations. The plot of the story twists and turns, weaving through love affairs, tense standoffs, post-traumatic flashbacks, alliances, and betrayals, which, when coupled with the brilliant cinematography, costuming, and set design, effortlessly suck you into the world and makes you feel like one of the Peaky Blinders. The characters all have distinct presence when on screen, some we love and some we love to hate. The continuity keeps the audience entertained with large-scale plots such as the warring families, while addressing smaller plot points in an equally entertaining fashion along the way. Overall, Peaky Blinders is a fantastic show full of intriguing characters, brilliant set design, and a score that doesn't disappoint. By order of the Peaky Blinders, we give Peaky Blinders a sharp 9.5 out of 10.
This place is under new management. By order of the Peaky Blinders.
Hello HUD Buds, I'm Josh Engard.
And I'm Riley Dees.
And today we're continuing the theme of reviewing two movies that don't have anything in common, except they're worth a watch. Here's our reviews for Home and Furious 7. Home is where the heart is. Rather, there's a lot of heart in Home, the newest DreamWorks Studios film. The story centers around Tip, a young girl who comes into contact with aliens, voiced by Jim Parsons and Steve Martin. The aliens are looking for a home, and in typical children's movie fashion, they have to learn lessons and beat a bad guy to get what they want. The score was predictable, mixed with some popular music and Tom and Jerry-esque instrumental sections. The voice acting was fairly good as well, with Rihanna, Jim Parsons, Jennifer Lopez, and Steve Martin as a cast. You know it can't be terrible. What every children's movie demands is a good moral, and the moral behind the movie is exceptional. With that moral, along with some top-notch animation, Home is actually a pretty entertaining show, especially if you like children's movies. So we give Home 8.4 O's out of 10.
I am O.
Oh?
I have been given this name by my many, many friends. Good morning. Hi, guys. Hello.
Furious 7 is what you'd expect from a Fast and Furious movie. Fast cars, a paper-thin plot, characters that are either jacked guys or fit women. All of this aside, the movie isn't trying to take itself too seriously. The film wants the audience to munch on some popcorn, enjoy the over-the-top action, and have just a good time. And it did just that. Furious 7 packs an action hero all-star cast of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jason Statham, Vin Diesel, and the late Paul Walker. All of these action heroes make for a flick that adrenaline junkies will enjoy, but perhaps should be avoided by people who think a little bit too much about the movies they're watching. The fight choreography, fast-paced racing, and stunt work all were fairly good, and the score wasn't particularly memorable, but pushed the scenes forward and heightened the pace when it needed to. All in all, Furious 7 was a fairly satisfying popcorn flick that might be good for those who want to kick back and watch the Rock uppercut people. We give Furious 7 7 families out of 10.
Like it or not, you and your friends are a part of it now.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Hey y'all, I'm James Greenhaw.
And I'm Eric Kennedy.
And we'll cap off this episode's review segment with 3 video games that are current and worth your time. Here's our reviews for Child of Light, Mortal Kombat X, and Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. If you have an Xbox Live Gold subscription and are in the mood for enjoyable turn-based combat, rhyming dialogue, and calming atmospheres, then Child of Light is free for the month of April through Games with Gold, and it might just be the game for you. Child of Light focuses on Aurora, an adorable little girl who suddenly passed away in the real world, but woke up in a strange new world, where she finds that she is destined to free the New World's inhabitants from Umbra, the Queen of Darkness. Along the way, you meet a Firefly, a Jester, an old wizard, and many more enjoyable characters that spice up the game with their specific combat styles and unique personality quirks. The gameplay of Child of Light focuses on exploration through a side-scrolling, varied environment and centers on completing tasks based on the party members' plights. The combat functions in an interesting way, with whatever your position is related to your enemies determine how combat begins. For instance, you can act before your enemies if you run into them from behind. You rely on chance to act before your enemies if you run into them head-on, or your enemies can ambush you and act before you if you're attacked by them. Combat then plays out in a turn-based system that puts icons of you and your party on an action bar, scrolling from left to right. Once an icon reaches a line on the left side, a character can choose from differently timed actions in hopes to cast slow but powerful magic attacks, or quick but weak melee attacks. Sometimes you can interrupt enemies' actions, paralyze them, or slow their progress on the action meter. In contrast to the tense struggles that combat puts you through, the score is very calming, taking you through very atmospheric environments as you fly with pixie wings around the world. The replayability is fairly low, as the story is pretty straightforward, but this doesn't take away from the calming and enjoyable experience that Child of Light has to offer. Why not play this game in your own den? We're rhyming and give Child of Light an 8 out of 10.
The path home tragic and fate.
Mortal Kombat 10 is the 10th Mortal Kombat game by NetherRealm Studios, and is another gory beat-em-up that takes some time to master, but is an absolute joy to play, especially with all the new characters and features that are in this installment of the franchise. The gameplay centers around a familiar fighting mechanic, with each player trying to reduce the other player's health bar down to 0 before their own hits 0. The familiar setup is altered by each character's variations, which are twists to a character that changes their fighting style up slightly. This encourages replayability, as each variation alters the way the fights play out. Aside from the online play and the variations, the story mode doesn't do much for replayability, as it is pretty linear and uninteresting. All the stages and characters look very good graphically and are varied and well thought out. The environments also have the ability to provide environmental attacks like Injustice had with its environments. The game shines in the way that it always has, being a fighting game that most anyone can pick up and play, while at the same time being quite a challenge to the best combatant. That's with a K, obviously. With that, we give Mortal Kombat 10 7.5 fatalities out of 10.
Finish him!
Are you prepared to die? Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, really doesn't care if you're prepared or not, but you will die in this game. Over and over again. Fresh with a new coat of paint on the Xbox One, Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin is a rage-inducing romp through Drang Lake, a land filled with eccentric NPCs and enemies that only want to kill you. Sounds wonderful, right? Fans of the Souls franchise will love besting these enemies and other players with their wit and combat expertise, while casuals like myself will slowly putt through each environment and throw plenty of expletives at the screen when that classic message shows in blood red across the screen. You died. Aside from the game's difficulty, the environments are all equally varied and horrifying, making it quite rewarding to explore or just stop and marvel at the scenery before soulless enemies eat your lunch. The replayability in this game all depends on your tolerance for the challenge, as this game is crawling with it. The game encourages the player to try many different character builds and strategies and makes it easier to connect with friends or other players through summon signs if you're stuck, which is very helpful for new players to the Souls games or people who aren't so good at the game's intricate combat system. The graphics and sound design are beautifully terrifying, as practically each enemy boasts a unique design, and is equipped with different ways to kill you. Overall, if you enjoy a challenge or are well acquainted with the Souls franchise, this game is a must-have. However, if you're just starting out, you might need some adjusting before fully enjoying the game. We give Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, 8.5 Praise the Suns out of 10.
Praise the sun. Okay, I'm good now.
Well, that's it for this episode of Heads Up Display. Thank you so much for watching.
If you'd like to stay up to date with all the things Heads Up Display, go to our website where you'll find more updated staff pages, another episode of the HUD podcast, and all our past episodes.
Stay tuned for more HUD Honcho as we'll be facing off for that prized Smash belt again very soon.
For now, though, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching. This has been Heads Up Display.